Well, welcome all. It's Raymond for Stream Gamers once again. We're going to do a video that's going to hopefully explain your setup in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 as quickly as possible. It's not going to be a super in-depth video, but it's going to be a video that will get people hopefully in the skies sooner than later. And then give you some background a little bit so that you can do some more customization later on with some understanding of some of the menu or the menu structures and that kind of stuff. So it will not be a flying video, as it will be about how to set things up. I'm going to really briefly touch on the marketplace, but the vast majority of it is going to be, getting the initial setup of everything. So first things first, let's talk about the marketplace a little bit. If you're not aware, Microsoft and Adobe did a live stream where they released and said the marketplace will not be available at release, and so here we see coming soon. However, the library is here. This is your library, and what's interesting about this, for those people that have previously purchased 2020 and own, in my case, 2020 Premium Upgrade, which I purchased, you get, it appears you get the vast majority of those, if not all, but you get those aircraft. So when I was purchasing 2024, I was agonizing a little bit, should I do the Premium Plus or the Premium package, because I wanted the 787, and I resided to the fact that I wasn't going to get it 787, and I had a conversation about that in another video. However, if we go back and we look at our aircraft here, and we go 787. Now, I have the Standard Edition 2024, and yet there's the Dreamliner. So it appears you do get to keep your whatever edition you had in 2020, and that stuff gets to migrate over here as well, which is pretty fantastic in my mind. It's something that I didn't know existed, but it's fantastic. So having said all of that, when you get into your library, what you should look for is, after you do the install, there should be a screen here saying, hey, we know you because you have this whatever version of 2020, and you'll say okay or continue to that screen. You come here to the stream and you're going to see all these updates, which are very reminiscent of the updates that were in 2020, but they're all being streamed to you. Likewise, these landmarks, the deluxe upgrade, because when you buy Premium Edition, you get the standard, the deluxe upgrade, and then the Premium upgrade. And so you could see any of the aircraft that are in here are going to be streamed to me as well. Okay, and here's the Premium upgrade. And so come here and look in here in the library and see are those aircraft that you previously purchased, and those things, that scenery that you previously purchased in 2020, are they in here? I suspect they will be. So it's something I didn't realize was going to happen, and I was surprised to all of a sudden see the Dreamliner, the 787 in there, and the Bearing 58 was another aircraft. Those are the two aircrafts that I really wanted to have, but I just didn't want to buy the full package just for those two aircraft. Okay, enough of that. I'm not going to talk about photogrammetry and stuff like this. This isn't really a video about explaining each of these. If somebody wants that type of a video, please, by all means, put it in the comment section, request it, and I'll go through each of these individually and explain them. I think there's lots of videos out there already doing that. And there are videos explaining the systems, but it's explaining it more in a negative light, and that's not my intent. My intent today is to not explain how bad the sim is or how good the sim is. It's just, how do you get from purchasing the aircraft or purchasing the sim, getting it installed in your computer, clicking on it and seeing that first initial screen and saying, what do I do now? Well, you can go into free flight and get on ground and start flying, but your controllers aren't going to be set up the way you like them. People are going to say, well, And that's because, you have to reset them up. Well, yeah, it's a new sim. And we had to do that when we got 2020 as well. So let's not get lost in all of the stuff. First things first, when you come into the sim and you're gonna be greeted into the settings, you're gonna be greeted with the general, which is very similar to the general in 2020. When you first installed it, you had the ability to set your graphic settings defaultly and let the sim kind of pick your best graphic settings. Language was another one. And I think it was controllers as well. Was another. Yeah, it was controllers to see, does the sim identify all of your controllers? And you've likely gone through that. Hopefully, it's still fresh in your mind. Now, the only thing that I've done in here for myself and changed is I changed. First of all, I put DLSS frame generation. So those that have, I think it's the 30 and 40 series cards, or is it just the 40 series cards? I can't remember. But if you have the card, this will become available for you, and go ahead and turn it on. I've changed it to DLAA. This is a setting that people should be cautious and careful with and how you do it. So the settings you see on my screen are not necessarily what you should have on yours. They should be based on yours, how you do what your system is, right? So you can come in here and you can say, for performance, for example, well, that's just that, to get a better performance but maybe a little less quality. Okay, I have I could go ultra. I don't maybe have the system that I think that can support that, although maybe I do, I don't know. I have mine set to DLAA. I'm told that it takes some of the frame rates away a little bit, but gives you a little bit better, or a better visual thing. And for me, frame rates aren't important. What is important to me is, how does it look? Does it look good? Is it going to be stuttery and that kind of stuff? And so that's a balancing act. The rest of these things are going to be set up for you as you go through the process. You can come in here. I've had people say, well, where are all the settings? Well, these little drop-down menus is one. You can change that. This doesn't seem to do much of anything, that maybe I just don't understand it, okay? But all of the settings that you're used to seeing in the graphical settings are right there. So just be aware that little drop-down can be clicked. Now, in my case, I haven't changed any of this stuff. I did move this slider around a little bit. I didn't really see any difference, and so I just left it alone. But this is where the settings are if you find it necessary to make changes. Okay, language, excuse me, is just that. It's language. I wouldn't worry about it so much. Sound, it is going to be important at some point, because the sim has an audio system or a voice chat system and texting chat system in here. And so at some point, we're going to have to make sure we have the right communicational devices. I'm not sure, do we need them here, or do we need them actually here? And I suspect it's more here, so that we can enable voice chat, and then we can set your output device, which is your speakers, your input device, which is your microphone. Set those up so that when and if you decide to utilize that service, that's been set up. If you don't, it won't work. Okay? Camera. So camera, there isn't a lot that I personally did in here. What I did do is I did raise the height a little bit, and I found it kind of looked a little weird. But from what I understand, this is the height in which you're sitting in at the cockpit with. So if you find yourself sitting too high, you want to sit a little lower, defaultly, you can change that here, and vice versa, right? And the same thing goes for your positioning, your horizontal positioning, okay? So you can change these things. I haven't changed them, but this is where those settings are to be changed. Flight model. So there are two primary systems for flight model in here. One is Legacy and the other is Modern. I'm told that Legacy is maybe a little more specific for Xbox, and Modern is more for us PC users. True, if that's true or not, I don't know. I have it set to Modern, and I gotta tell you guys, and I'm saying this a few times throughout the video, I hear lots of people complaining about this and complaining about that. My experience in 2024 has been phenomenal. My expectations aren't maybe as high as some other people are, but in my mind, it's been phenomenal. Yes, the beginning was not great, but here we are, some 8-10 hours. That took about 8 to 10 hours after that fiasco, and I could log in and do whatever I want whenever I want. So it is what it is. I don't want to get lost in the weeds there. That's flight model. Flight interface. Here you're going to make some changes potentially if your taste is such that you'd like it to. Okay. You can see my settings, and that's my personal preferences. I want to see the airports. I want to see the pre-flight pins. That I want to see those things. You may not want to. You might want to see it all. But this is where you get to be able to see, whether you have the in-cockpit HUD that you'll see, like, showing you altitude, flaps, speed, engine, all that stuff, or not. Okay? This is where you do that. Here is the same place. This is for the external part of it. I have mine set on full, but you may want yours different. Advanced, I have done nothing in here, nor do I actually really understand any of this stuff. And of course, here I don't either. The big one that we're going to look at is the controls. We're going to get ourselves set up. Okay. So what does it mean to get yourself set up? In my mind, it means I can fly the aircraft, and it will fly similar to what I'm used to. In 2020, it will fly here, and my buttons and controllers are set up, more or less the same. I'm not going to spend a lot of time going through each individual one. I'm going to show you how you go about getting your flight yoke, your joystick, your whatever you use to control your up and down, right to left, aileron, and so on and so forth. We're going to talk about your throttle controls, mixture controls a little bit. We're going to talk about a little bit about how do you get inside the cabin, inside the cockpit, and outside, and internal and external views is what I'm trying to say. Once again, words are hard, and they're even harder when you try to put them in sentences and try to make a sentence. Anyways, so we're going to kind of go through some of that stuff, and it's going to be quick and hopefully not too long-winded. I get some like that. Sometimes I get a little bit like that because I want to be clear about what I'm saying. All right. So along this side here is your mouse, keyboard, your rudder pedals, and your yoke or flight stick, whatever you happen to use, and so forth. Okay, so you see here, it's a picture of the keyboard. There, it's a picture of the mouse. There, it's a picture of my rudder pedals, and there is a picture, not necessarily a picture of my joystick. I didn't realize that. Anyways, so we're going to start with some very basic things to get you running and get you going first, and making it work. Flight control surfaces is where you want to be. You can go into the primary. You can go through each one of these things, and you'll see there is a raft of settings here that can be customized, and some will have a very specific setup, and you can do that here. You could also likewise go into 2020 and see what buttons do what. I suspect you already know that, hey, when I want to do this is the button that I use for that. Hey, when I want to do that, this is the button that I do that with. And I'm used to doing that in 2020, and we want to transfer that in here, and we want to do that as quickly as we can. Okay, so rather than going into the individual settings and scrolling down and looking, going, okay, where is that? Here's a little trick. Up here, search by input. If you click that, now that it's highlighted and it's highlighted, whoops, it's highlighted. Yeah, so now it's highlighted, and I canceled it. Come on now, come on. So you see it's scanning. Now, if I move my rudder pedals, for example, that's the axis that I want. Now mine has been set up already, but if mine was not, for example, let us get rid of that. By the way, to get rid of it, don't click on it, just make sure it's highlighted, hit the backspace key. Apparently not. Come on now. Yes. So now, when I do this again, you see there's nothing there. Okay? There's nothing there. So I want to now assign that. I want that to be an assignment. I want my rudder axis to be that, okay? So if I do this and I go rudder, whoops, let's spell it right, rudder. There's your rudder axis, okay? If you don't know what these things are called, go look in 2020 and do the exact same thing. It has a little window here that you can click on it and then move your rudders, and it'll tell you, oh, that's assigned under the rudder axis. Okay, so this is where I want it to be assigned. So now I click here, scanning, move the rudders, it's assigned. Okay, if I go to I want to do the next one, click. So the next one is, let's say I want to do my flight yoke. Okay, and I want to do, go left and go right machine and up and down machine, right? Whether you use a yoke or a joystick or flight stick, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. So if you click in here and you say, hey, I want to set my aileron, or I want to set my, let's do this like this. Let's click on the search button here. You have to make sure you select the device that you want to customize or set. So in 2020, you'll find out that, oh, it's under elevator access. That function is under elevator access, right? So if we click in here and go, so you can see elevator trim, there's elevator access, and you can see I'm already assigned. And it's the same function, right? If you know it's your elevator and your aileron, you can just simply type that in that search box and it will come up. So for your elevator axis or your aileron axis, it's on axis. It's not on any of these other things. It's not trim, it's not pitch up, pitch down. Why they do this? They do this in 2020 as well. They give you these weird things. I don't know what they're for. But again, you want to set your elevator axis, you want to set your aileron axis, and this is how you do it. Okay? Now, for me, if you're like me, I have a button assigned that does a couple of things. I have one button that's assigned, it's a toggle button. I click it, it takes me outside the plane, I click it again, it puts me back in the plane. Okay? Where is that button? Now, I could show you how I have it assigned by doing it, but you may not have that assigned yet. Where is it? Scroll down here, look for camera mode switches. And if you knew that it was called cockpit / external, you could just simply type that here. But if you don't know where it is, this is where it is. Camera mode switches, and it's this top one, and there's where you want to assign your button that you use to go in the cockpit and out of the cockpit. Okay? Gear up, gear down, brakes, all of those same things are done exactly the same way. Just simply type, brake, there it is. And if I wanted to get more defined about this, I would just type in axis, and there I would have my brake axis. Okay. Now, I don't have it here because I have that assigned on my rudder pedals. I use my toe brakes. Anyways, but it's really that simple, guys. It's really, girls. It's really that simple. What are you looking for? If you don't know the verbiage that you're looking for, go into 2020 and get the verbiage, because that verbiage is exactly the same. In general, I should say, is the same here. Okay. So one final thing we're gonna touch on, and that is, I found that when I set up my controllers, and in 2020, I would say pull up on the yoke or in the flight stick, and in 2024 it was kind of uncontrollable. It was acting a little weird, like it was very aggressive, meaning the sensitivity was, in my mind, too sensitive for my taste, right? And this is, your mileage might be different than mine, but where is it that you go to kind of deal with that kind of stuff, right? So that you can adjust those sensitivities. Well, let's look at this, for example. and we'll deal with it on this one here. The first thing we want to do is I want to decide that I want to adjust my come on now. I want to adjust my elevator axis, okay? So as you're setting this up, when you get in here, that's my elevator axis. If you go over here to the little gear, click the little gear, and they couldn't have made this more obscure than they have if they tried. It doesn't, at least for me, I don't think they could have made it more obscured. But this is where it is, that little picture right there. Click on that little picture, and there is your elevator sensitivity, okay? The interesting thing about this is you don't know it, but I'm moving my elevator up and down. I'm moving it around, and in 2020, this graphic moves. Maybe there's a feature that makes this graphic work. I haven't found it, but look in your 2020 and see what you set for your sensitivity, and kind of mirror that over here. And if you do that, you're going to get a very similar experience from 2020 to 2024. Those sensitivities are pretty transferable. So that's how you go in there. One final thing I should have discussed, that when you set up these profiles, like right now I'm in my flight stick, and I've got this general profile and I've got this airplane profile. When you set this in, when you set that in for the first time, there'll be a pop-up window that comes up. Be aware that pop-up, you can apply this setting to not just to the aircraft that you're in, like I'm in the Boeing 787, but you can apply this setting to all aircraft, right? And so instead of having to set up every aircraft individually, you can just do this blanket setup. Or for some people that I know, they have different setups that they use for different aircraft, whether it be GA or airliners, or military, helicopter, and so on and so on. So you might want to have different profiles set up. If you don't care for that, be assured to put that check mark in there. If you've run across where you have forgotten to do that and you're in the setting, if you go down here and you click the little gear, and you can then right here you can say apply to all aircraft, and you're done. And then if you do the same here for this profile, airplane control, you're done. That's it. And that's as complicated as that is. Now, I want to caution people. People that watch my videos probably understand this about me. I'm probably more patient than some people are, but let's end with this. Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Has the experience been somewhat poor in the beginning? Yes, it has. But let's not let the very beginning of our experience in 2024 overshadow what is going to be a brilliant piece of software. It really is. It's going to be a brilliant piece of software. We have things in this sim now that we've never had. And as this sim progresses and gets better and better, it's going to be even more amazing, because the community is going to drive it forward. The community is going to kind of push Asobo's hand at this. I hear people talking about the I wish they would have just let us download the whole sim. Well, I think what people don't quite understand, and there's a live stream, not a live stream, but there's a stream that they put out, Asobo and Microsoft, about this. And until I watched that, I didn't get it either, but I do now. So in 2020, we were downloading some 130 gigs, and then by the time we did everything else, we were probably well north of 200 gigs by the time we got everything put into the sim, which is a lot of data to put on our machines. Hard drives are big, and so we could do that. The issue that we have in a new sim is we, as simmers and gamers, we're always expecting better, more, bigger, more realistic, more features, more options, and so forth. And all of those things are space. They take up space. So, for example, I believe they said there was some 400,000 towers, like cell towers and that kind of stuff that they put into the sim. And they just went out and they got it all. They put it all into the sim, and it's all there. And if those textures that they put in there, which people maybe don't understand this, but if those textures that you're seeing, that's called textures, what you're seeing, if those textures are based off of 8K at maximum resolution or at the best resolution that you can get, well, that one file could be as much as 100 megs. And imagine if there was 40,000 of them. Imagine the storage that you would need to have to put all of that on your hard drive. And then multiply that over and over and over and over again. All the helicopter pads that are in the world. All of the glider airports and glider things that they put in the world. All of the ships, all of the offshore oil things that they put out there. All of that stuff. And those aren't single textures, like a hangar or a helicopter pad is not one texture at 100 meg. That's several textures at 100 meg each. So they just didn't have a choice but to do the cloud. Some people have this idea that the cloud was there to serve their purpose. It actually isn't. I had a previous video where I said this and I wasn't sure about it. And so I said, I don't know why they did it. Maybe they had a reason for it. And I can see the reason. I can see the reasoning why. If we wanted to have this sim on our computers, a 2 terabyte drive likely wouldn't be enough by the time we get everything done. And so what are we going to do? We're going to buy, 8 terabyte drives and spend $1,200 on drives. Well, the vast majority of the community isn't going to do that. There'll be some people that would, but the vast majority wouldn't. Anyways, so that is the reasoning behind that. This is how you get yourself on ground, ready to enjoy enjoy the experience. Don't get frustrated by hiccups and things like that. If you find things that aren't working, please put them in the comment section. I'm happy to go through each and every one of them and go through there and do my level best to explain how you can get around that problem or how you can actually solve that problem. I spend a lot of time looking through all these things, and I hear a lot of people saying this doesn't work, that doesn't work, this doesn't work, and then I go there and I show them, yes, it does work, this is what you got to do, this is what you got to do. So if you're one of those people that are having problems with that, don't let it ruin your day. Put a comment in the comment section. I will get to it. I read every comment that you guys put, and I comment usually on every one. There's a few that I haven't because I thought they were somewhat ridiculous and over the top. I think there's one actually I did that. But anyways, put it in the comment section. I'm happy to review it, look it through. I may comment back and ask for more information. I have a Discord channel, so at the very, very, very bare minimum, or at the very, very outside, we can jump into Discord and you can share your screen and show me what's going on, and I can try to help resolve the problem. I've done this many, many times for many, many users. Happy to do it with you as well. So if you're one of those people that need help, reach out. I'm happy to help. Anyways, Raymond, Stream Gamers, you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're on our way to the 500 mark. My goal is to get at 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and I can't do that without you folks. So please mash the like button, the notification bell, the subscribe button. Give us a like, give us a dislike if you don't like it, but let us know why you don't like it. All right? Once again, I thank you very much. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Again, don't sweat the little things. The little things will look after themselves. The big ones, do something about it if you can. If you can't, then you can't do anything about it, and leave it for somebody else to worry about, because you worrying about it doesn't help you any bit. Raymond for Stream Gamers. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye now.